Man, something about this login music it's just great, isn't it? Hi everyone and welcome back to a little bit of Warframe. Oh, that is that is nice to see. Affinity booster. Okay.
The suits were exhausted. They just gave me Dexies and a pat on the back.
Baruuk is here. And yes, as you saw, we are currently in the process of going after some Khora weapons. I have gotten my first one, but I'm also revisiting a couple of builds, which, yeah, this is... especially Baruuk. Like, Baruuk got a change that I absolutely adore. Oh man, I can't tell you how excited I am about this change. So, first and foremost, I used to run a Nikana Prime as a stat stick with this build on it. There we go. Now, why was there Blood Rush on here? Why was there Gladiator Rush on here? Well, the Gladiator set it carried over, right? But also this was just a build that would function on its own if we were running outside of the steel path, where the enemy density wasn't enough to keep everything going. This was absolutely amazing to just melee through. And yeah, just very, very simple, right? Also, yeah, I actually have a Nikana Ribbon now with heavy attack efficiency, melee damage, and cold damage, which, you know, it might come up at some point, I'm not sure. But yeah, so I have invested one Forma into Baruuk. And all I've added, well, I added two mods basically. So the Zero Forma build was without Stretch and without Gladiator Resolve. So I added in Gladiator Resolve here. For ease of use, I want those constant red crits if I can help it. I might need another Gladiator mod somewhere, I have to see. But yeah, first test of this was absolutely insane. Right, so with Gladiator Resolve and Umbral Vitality, we are on 750 health with Adaptation and the damage reduction from Hour 3, which goes up to 90%, right? That's very decent indeed. Reactive Storm, obviously we want the status chance and also the enemy weakness that we can exploit with this. Fleeting Expertise, we want the negative duration, which is also a huge reason to max rank your Transient Fortitude. This leaves us on the 13%. Yes, it is not good for crowd control, but it's absolutely amazing to manage your restraint meter for Serene Storm. Now, I could subsume over Elude, and I probably should do at some point. I am really unsure what I should throw on there, because the duration is so low, right? So yeah, as I said, I added in Stretch for just that tiny bit more range. It just helps. And I'm still running Energize to... yeah, it's just very, very comfy. And Arcane Fury for some melee damage on critical hits. Now, Desert Wind Prime, and this is where the change that I'm very excited about is coming into play. We can go over this first. So that was my first test, right? Running Toxin, and I tested this against the Corpus, and it was a huge amount of fun. But you can see there's no longer primed reach in this build. And that is very important because it used to be that if you bumped this up with primed reach, you would, I think it was 3.7 or something meters of range, and you had to hit the enemy with your fist, not with the shockwave, with the fist, to build up combo for the Gladiator set, right? This has changed. You can now build combo with the waves, which is absolutely insane. That frees up so much space on this build that you are able to slot galvanized steel in, galvanized elementalist in for those decently chunks, they're really decently sized chunks of dot damage in case something survives our initial burst. And yeah, just throw in 2 Gladiator mods for some bonus crit damage and additional combo chance per multi, right? I tested it with Gladiator wise. I find this to be a bit on a slower side, which is why we added in the gladiator mod on the Warframe itself, right? So the build I ended up with is an influence build, and I was like, this has the potential to be absolutely naughty, and it is. Holy smokes. Like, this is insane. Right, we have galvanized steel, as I said, for the crit chance and crit damage, gladiator might and organ shatter for crit damage, blood rush for scaling crits with combo, right, we have voltaic strike for electricity and status chance to put us over 100%. We do have the primed pressure point in here. You could go with condition overload and have like a primer companion with you. Works very nicely. Galvanized Elementalist makes sense for the electricity procs as well, right? And Berserker Fury, actually, on kill, we kill 2 dudes, we are up to 70% attack speed, which is quite a bit more than the 30%. And I found this to be very, very nice. And yeah, my melee influence is on rank 3, so this can be much, much better, 4 meters and 6 seconds better to be exact. But honestly, even a rank 3 influence is kind of insane. Now let's make sure what we have. Oh, we have the crit cat with us. Is that a problem? This might be a problem. Also, yeah, this cat can dish out 3 status effects. Or even more. Because slash and puncture is on there as well. If needed. But let's switch away from that for a second, because I don't want this to interfere. Although I do believe Helios has Tenacious on there. Yes, it has. And we have a wool clock. Okay, we are getting a little bit more bang for our buck here. Oh yeah, and also, you notice there is no combo duration on here, which is why I have the Epitaph Prime with a secondary dexterity and the Baza Prime with primary dexterity. Now this Baza Prime is just fire rate multi-shot and a bit of crit and a little bit of corrosive. It's just here, honestly, to deal with nullifier shields. That's all it has to do. Okay, so Desert Wind, no formula needed, right? This just slots in as it is. Amazing. Now obviously we could go ahead and go for the Exilus slot and do some stuff there with, let's say, Mentor's Legacy to get Tenokai going, or just... yeah, that's probably the only thing that would make sense, actually. And Baruuk, you don't need the Forma, you would have to throw out Stretch, basically, if you wanted to do this. And, yeah, one change I did make, actually, I had Primed Flow and Fleeting Expertise instead of Stretch and Gladiator Resolve. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense now. But, whew, that was a whole bunch to go through. I would say we just go in here, and since we are on the electricity build, not the best against Grineer, right, you might think, but honestly the dot damage is so good, it doesn't even matter. And we are comfortably running around with Sunderik. We could have gone for Naramon for the combo duration, right? But this is honestly all we need. Like, keep your 3 up, throw your 2 out to manage your restraint meter, and then just press your 4 and go absolutely ham sandwich. So take a look at this. Yellow crits, nothing too major, right? Oh, wow. That's okay. That's okay. That's not too much damage, right? Well. We're already... oh, we're on 5x. Okay, so we will see orange crits now. And we will see... oh yeah, those procs go up. Ah, there we had a red crit. Let's keep our 3 up. Now, I do also enjoy the block combo. Or the forward block combo, actually, is also very, very nice. As you can see, we are building combo with these shockwaves. And that is just such an immense quality of life change. Like before, you had to be very careful keeping up the gladiator buffs. It was very, very finicky, because if you accidentally run out of restraint and you would hit somebody with your melee weapon, yeah, the gladiator set bonus would just bug out and not function anymore. But we are on 12x combo now. You can see the good old red crits coming in here. There we go. Get rid of that Eximus for a moment. I still have trouble with Eximus and Acolytes for some bizarre reason. Yeah, 20k electricity procs.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more
And yeah, we don't have armor strip or anything like that. It's absolutely nutty. I love it. I love it so much. And yeah, sure, it is quite a high investment in the grand scheme of things. The mods that we are using, some of them are expensive to level, looking at the Umbral stuff, and an Umbral Forma isn't something that most people will just have lying around, but you also really don't need it to go overboard. Like, yeah, Umbral is nice, a bit less strength is okay, a bit less health is okay. And yeah, I mean, constant red crits achieved. No longer are we in need of a range mod. 56k prop damage right there. Look. That is so nutty. And yeah, we also no longer use healing return, because we stun lock basically most of the enemies anyways with the electricity procs. So we are good, right? We don't need to worry too much about our survivability. Also, we have a good health pool, and we do have adaptation, and we do have 90% DR from our 3, so I am just surprised. Like, I thought maybe we would get nerfed a bit, and
another life support capsule.
maybe we did get nerfed a bit in some kinds. I don't know. It still seems very, very decent to me. And yeah, Baruuk is honestly just a frame that you can take out for Steel Path and just be like, okay, I'm just going to hold block and F and spin around and from time to time press my 2 to manage my restraint meter. 66k, 56. Oh boy, that is juicy, juicy damage. Very cool. I was like, when running around with the Toxin build, that was really, really fun, and I was like, which status effect could also be very fun, and obviously Influence came to mind, and I was like, they will not allow this, won't they? But they absolutely do, which is great. I love it. I absolutely think this helps Baruuk out in a way that you potentially can change up the build considerably, right? I didn't stray away too far from my low duration builds, but we might no longer need the low duration, right? We can potentially make this a CC monster with the 2 being way more active. And there is one Acolyte that is particularly scary, and that's Violence, right? Because Violence can turn your abilities off, and that basically makes you very vulnerable, which is not good. But yeah, as you can see, we are almost 5 minutes in, and we are over 500 kills. With electricity against Grineer, which is not the optimal setup, keep that in mind. But it just works very, very good. Constant red crits, electric procs that fill entire rooms, and I can only imagine how absolutely crazy this gets once we do reach a maxed out influence, right? So we are just going to leave this mission and talk about another candidate that has received some love. Yeah, I think it's important to talk about that frame as well. And yes, this frame obviously is our Khora Prime, right? So I used to use the ceramic dagger as a stat stick for insanely good critical stats, right? And this was the build for it. And this worked very nice. And oh, I even had exposure on this, on rank 2. Okay, I didn't stray away too far from this idea, but we can now slot in something else here. And it is a dagger, yeah, but it's going to be the Inodem. Why the Inodem? The Inodem has 30% sprint speed on it. Everything else I don't care. I just take the sprint speed. So, Whipclaw Prime. Shocking, I invested 1 Forma into this. It's not really needed, but it's amazing fun to go around like this. Okay, so what's happening here? I completely stripped away Primed Pressure Point. I got rid of Sacrificial Steel, which, is Galvanized Steel better? Maybe. I think so. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, we can now use Blood Rush and Weeping Wound, and this is amazing, right? I did mod for Viral with Primed Fever Strike and Vicious Frost. Galvanized Steel, as I said, for the crit chance and crit damage stacking buff. Galvanized Elementalist again. Heyo, why is this here? Mainly because you're hoping for slash procs, and we might have to switch stuff around on this build a little bit, so we don't get too many viral procs. Although we always will get more viral procs than anything else, which is totally okay. But yeah, maybe the slash weight has to go up a bit more than 0.1 damage, right? Orcan Shatter for crit damage, Gladiator Might, crit damage, and a little bit more combo, crit chance per combo multi, right? Melee exposure, this is huge. 30% corrosive damage on melee strike, we are pressing 1 constantly, 240% corrosive damage on top of our viral. Yeah, that's not bad. Now, you will no longer see these insane millions of red crits on a regular basis. You will still see them. Absolutely no worries. They can happen. I've seen like a 4.5, I think, last time I've played against the Grenier, and it was just very, very nice. It still felt good, right?
They have just shut down all
And I
systems.
think, yeah, the numbers in the beginning are lower, but who gives a fuck when this ability still does stuff like this. Oh, that's only... Oh, already... Oh, wait. The corrosive damage is stacking up now. Oh boy. Ah, yeah, okay. We are getting somewhere. 7x combo, 8x combo. Stuff is about to get real now. Wait. Ah, there we go. We need some enemies. Okay, we are over 100k damage. Still need to manage everything though, I don't want the slash proc on me. There we go, we're on 12x combo. We probably have to... Oh, there we go, there was a 2 million crit right there, 1.1 million. Yeah, sometimes, or most times, you will see stuff in the range of 100k, 300k, either corrosive or viral, and then from time to time you are blessed with 1.8 million of that one. Hey! So yeah, this is absolutely zero problems in my eyes. Like, I haven't taken this into very long missions yet, so that is something I need to check out. And what I mean by that is this build has done 1 hour of... Oh, what was it? I think it was Helene, yeah, just to farm up a couple of Orokin cells. So, not the highest level of Steel Path enemies, but nothing to scoff at. And yeah, see, sometimes you just see a 6.6k. What is that? But that's just... Everything still dies in 1 hit. Mostly, at least. I mean, the Eximus units can take a little bit more, and I haven't really searched for a particularly good room here, so maybe let's move up. Deal with the guys behind us still. And yeah, for just sitting around very comfortably and loot resources out of a mission, this is still my absolutely go-to build, right? I still think it is so chill, and so easy to manage throughout the mission. You don't have to do anything special, and if you press escape, you can really see what's going on here. So the Gladiator set bonus is stacked up to 11. Weeping Wounds is at max 11 stacks. Blood Rush is at the maximum of 11 stacks. Arcane Fury, 180%, that's maxed out. Galvanized Galvanized Steel, maxed out at 4x. 240% corrosive damage, maxed out. And it just goes on and on and on, right? Tenacious Bond, maxed out. As expected, Momentous Bond, even at the moment, maxed out. Galvanized Elementalist is maxed out. And Accumulating Whip Claw, not maxed out. We are missing 5%, but that's just on me for not focusing on only hitting big groups. And I mean, yeah, it's not constant red crits at the moment, which is fine. We definitely can find a way to do that though. I just didn't feel the need. Ah, there we had like a good crit as well. Yeah, so it is still more than enough, right, to deal with what most people will deal with. And still, this is a high investment build for Khora, don't get me wrong, that's like a 3 or 4 forma build, right? But you can do with less. You can absolutely do with less on Khora herself. But like 1 forma on her Exalted weapon, that is easy stuff, right? That is absolutely an investment that you can go for. Especially if you plan to farm your resources with Khora. If you want to go another route, by all means go ahead, right? I just find it extremely comfortable with Khora. And I was like, okay, I can see how the numbers might be lower, but I was like, I don't think it's going to make a big difference overall in how we play and how Khora actually performs in missions. And yeah, I'm more worried about how a build feels in a mission than if the number is bigger than before, right? That's just my way of playing and thinking in Warframe. Acolytes, 2 tapped, no problem. Absolutely. Brilliant performance out of Khora still. Absolutely love it. I also like that we have a accumulating Whip Claw combo counter on screen at all times now. Before I would usually swing my melee weapon once or twice just to have it on. No longer need that. Also, one thing I would like to test out is what else I could run besides this, right? Obviously the Crit Cat is a decent companion to run, but we could also just prime enemies up and use Condition Overload, and that will give us probably a very big number back. But yeah, as I said, I don't mind too much, and yeah, this is still 700 kills in like 5 minutes, and an Acolyte kill on top of that, right? So I would say Khora is in a very good spot still. And yeah, as I said, ease of use, right? Ease of use. Such a good thing for us. Oh wait, am I still on Naramon on her? Yeah, I am. That makes sense though. But yeah, that is... I mean... I was like, okay, this update sounds like a lot of fun and I can see a lot of potential with it. I didn't expect to go the influence route with Baruuk, but I'm glad I did. That was a whole bunch of fun. And Khora, I think, just, as I said, it just functions perfectly fine, and I probably do need to do more missions and go on for a little bit longer and maybe even switch up the build again, but for a starting point, I feel like this has been very good to me. And sure, I could potentially swap out like Gladiator Might for Prime Pressure Point or something along these lines and throw another form onto this if I see the need for it. At the moment, I really don't. We could also switch this over to a different Arcane, but I think Exposure is really, really cool here. So yeah, I don't mind. at all. And you get Viral Corrosive, which is a very strong combo against the Grineer. Yeah, so I really enjoyed my time with this, and yeah, this is also a 4-shard investment with some Taus and some melee crit damage shards, right? So yeah, not bad. Khora herself, there you go. Comfy loot is what I'm calling this build. It's still the same build. It's 3 format to run this with the Exilus and Energize and Arcane Fury again, right? So we could definitely also do something else here. If you take a look at melee arcanes, we could switch it out for something like Arcane Strike for attack speed, but I just don't see it. I just really don't. Also health regen and armor for 10 seconds, that could be something to beef her up for longer missions, right? So there is potential, and it's not a really maxed out build, I guess. It's just one that I feel like extremely comfortable with, and I wanted to share with you these two guys. Now, there are other Warframes that need my attention with the changes that we got, right? Ash is one of them. I probably will look at Ash the last. It's been such a long time since I even thought about a build for Ash. Atlas, it's just not a frame I use very often, so I will have to look into Atlas for sure. Next on the list, Excal. Excal definitely is something that I want to revisit, so yeah.
Relax.
I also did buy the new skins, by the way. I couldn't resist, so yeah, absolutely stunning. Frost, pretty much how I always saw Frost, like it's so close to the image that I always had of Frost in my head. It's kind of cool to see that this came out to be like to what I thought Frost would look like, right? Gara is definitely a frame that I would like to take a quick glance at as well, since we have an exalted weapon for her now, as well as... who was it? There's more, I swear. I know there's more, but I'm just so struggling right now. Oh yeah, also
Make
Nova.
things explode.
Ayo. Also very cool skin, I like it. Who was I thinking about? Oh god, now I'm blanking. That's really not good. That's really not good. There's probably someone that I'm forgetting, and I'm really sorry about that. Oh yeah, the new Siren skin also, absolutely. Oh yeah, you got me good with this one. Like, that's really cool. Also, something very interesting. I was taking a look at my Warframe 2024 year in review, and you know what ability that I cast the most is? It is actually Khora's Whip Claw. It's insane. I realized how much resources I was farming with my friends and clanmates and also random squads. Like, that was probably the most playtime where I would just say, hey, let's go farm resources, bring your Necros, bring your Speed Nova, let's go. And just, yeah. It's funny to me though, it's funny. The most played Warframe in 2024 for me, that was an interesting one. It was actually Dante. Actually, not that surprised about this, because I really, really enjoyed the launch of Dante, and I think the Zero Forma build that I crumbled together did actually work fairly nicely as an overguard generator, and also as a lower level slash nuke. It did work, and yeah, not too much surprised that I was using Dante that often. But yeah, that sums up the two frames that I wanted to talk about, especially Baruuk. I thought was like, that is huge, right? So yeah, I now need to find something to subsume over evade, because this is pretty much useless for me at the moment. And yeah, as I said, might do something with the duration, might not, we will see. But that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and as always, take care. Bye.